6 AI agents, each built with a unique edge. Miko, AI, Team Leader. Ori AI, Fundamental Analyst. Exi, AI, Technical Analyst. Mesa, AI, Risk Management Specialist. Fenwa, AI Market Sentiment Analyst. And Naledi AI, the cryptocurrency expert. Together, they're engineered to protect, guide, and transform your trading. The future of trading is here. Experience Zenfrix AI.
Okay, what's up people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. All the good stuff does help the channel grow. Excuse me. It allows you to stay up to date with the content. Of course, make sure you share it with your friends as well. That would be appreciated. But as always guys, we've got a bunch of markets to go through. If you haven't checked out the Zenfrix Telegram community Telegram, make sure you head over and check it out. I have left a link at the top of the chat so you can't miss it. But if you are wanting to learn more about the project, updates as well, you can find all of that and more in the Telegram. So go check that out if you haven't done so already. We'll run through the USD markets first, take a look at the DXY, USD majors, a lot of talking points there, gold and silver, and then we'll take a look at the DX platform and of course go through a bunch of analysis. Any pairs, any markets you do want to share, put it in the chat. We'll discuss any time frames as well. Let me know and we shall take a look, and we can go through a bunch of markets. Let me just check I'm using the right mic because I wasn't doing that yesterday, but it looks like I am. Good. Okay, so let's get into it. So we'll start with the DXY, which has been fairly interesting this morning, you could say the least. Very, very strong this morning, and looks like price basically just rejected the low of the range. So we're back to square one right now with the dollar. Equal highs, equal lows, 3 rejections of each level, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and now looks like price is on its way to go and test the upper level again of the same range. So as I've said, as long as price is rejecting this area, looking to buy low and sell high until we get the breakout. Direction is still very much up in the air. I was favoring us to break to the downside this week. I still kind of am, but of course, until I do see a commanding breakout of this level, I'm not really looking to get excited or do anything in terms of finding positions. So even if we do break to the upside, I'll be very bullish on the market. Let's say we do something like that. The plan will be looking for pullbacks and buying opportunities to take this back to highs around 100.2. So either which way, I'm still seeing opportunities whether we do break to the upside or to the downside. But of course, as of yet, we haven't got that. We're still very much within the range. And it looks like price is approaching the high, or going to be approaching the high probably the next day or two. So naturally, as price gets there, same again. If price does reject well, I think that's still a great place to be looking for shorts, provided we see some good entry confirmations. And we can look for price to come right back down again. If we do see a breakout, then we'll speak on that. Like I said, possibly the buys could come in and we can target some highs up there. But until we get the breakout, we just got to expect the range to continue essentially. And that's pretty much what we got here. And a lot of strength off the low this morning. So dollar is definitely strong right now. And of course, that will mirror onto other USD pairs. Excuse me. And yeah, you can see exactly the same situation occurring there with euro dollar. Equal lows, equal highs, price rebounding off the high. Again, as price is not breaking out, you're looking to short the pair, and a lovely reaction and a lovely continuation this morning. So now it looks like euro, we're probably going to end up back at the lows here again, 1.159, and the cycle repeats. No need to overcomplicate it. And the beauty of a range is that maybe, well, conditions aren't particularly great in terms of trending market conditions, but ranges do allow you to kind of simplify in terms of where you're looking to get involved, especially if you're just looking to get involved at the highs and lows. That's really where your focus is. So when price is in between, you're sitting in your hands, you're not really doing anything. You're just going to keep an update, what price is doing, maybe set some alerts. But when price does reach the low, reach the high, And that's when you're looking for your opportunities mostly. And if price does reject well, then you're looking for price to continue within the range. If we're seeing some signs of breakouts, then we can look at either taking some breakout opportunities or waiting for some pullbacks and some breaking retest opportunities which could set up. And that's the reality here with euro as well. Another push off the high. As price makes its way to the low, that's where we're going to be looking to monitor price a bit more closely. And then that's where we're going to see either do we get another bounce or do we get a breakout. Again, if we do get a breakout, then we're looking for a push all the way back to 1.14. If, of course, price does reject the level, then we're looking for a push back to where we came from, 1.17. So that's really all the analysis for euro, keeping it very, very simple, just looking at the key areas which price is paying attention to, and then keeping an eye to see how price reacts with them. As of right now, key rejection off the high, momentum looks really good. There's probably a good chance we do end up back at support, and then that's when I'll start to keep a bit more, keep more updated with price and actually monitoring what it's doing, because that's where we will find opportunities. As for pound USD, likewise as well, really strong move to the downside this morning. Pound looks like it's a lot weaker than euro, a lot more violent of a move there to the downside there for pound. But again, same situation applies for pound USD as well, back at key support. So the plan is literally just waiting to see what price does here. You can see once, twice, you could argue a third time, although we didn't quite test the area to the pip, but mostly, coming into that vicinity where buyers will be looking to enter the market. And then we're there again, of course, this time with a massive candle. Again, momentum can be deceiving, especially within a range. You look at that candle and you go, oh, wow, price potentially is going to plummet now. That could be the case, but in a range, things are always quite 50-50, and momentum, as I said, can be very deceiving. You look at the size of this bullish candle, how many people thought price was just going to continue higher? Of course, in hindsight, we can see that didn't happen. So momentum is never really something to go by in a range. Of course, if we're in trending environments, you can use that to your favor a lot more. But in these choppy conditions, I wouldn't be completely surprised if we just flip and see a push back up. We saw a strong example of that in DXY not too long ago. Really bearish, aggressive candle coming back to lows. Price turning the dime very, very nicely there. So inside a range, don't get too excited about momentum and big candles because they can be quite deceiving. Same with this candle as well. I'm not saying it will be. Maybe we do see the breakout, but we'll have to wait and see. Wait for confirmations, wait for price to actually break the range. And then we can talk about opportunities. But yeah, if price does break to the downside, then I am looking for a push back to 1.315, which of course will take us back to that swing low. And likewise, if price does reject that level and show some good entry confirmations, push back into resistance, potentially the high there as well, will be the plan. So it's really 50-50. Again, the skill, the thing to monitor here is really what price is doing at that area, especially on the excuse me, my voice is really croaky today. Especially on the lower time frames, this is where you kind of monitor price in terms of wicks, rejection, entry, candle closures as well. Right now, not enough information to really indicate anything really other than price is finding support. So I'd wait for more information, more candlesticks to kind of show us what we're doing. Is momentum starting to tire? Are we starting to find support? Is momentum continuing? Those are the key things I'll be trying to keep up to date with pound USD. But at the moment, testing critical support. Dollar CAD looked remotely bullish, not very bullish though, which goes to show you how strong CAD is as well. Because looking at other USD pairs, of course, taking a look at the DXY, you can see there's definitely a lot of strength for USD at the moment. But dollar CAD barely budged, so CAD is very, very strong as well. But yeah, I still like the shorts for dollar CAD. Again, it will be make or break in terms of how price gets there and how it reacts. If we do pick up some steam and impulsively push to the upside, that definitely does reduce the quality of the opportunity. But if price can correctively push to the upside nice and slow, reject well here, then yeah, I would love to take a short and look for a continuation back into the lows here. I'm still pretty bearish on dollar CAD itself. So I'll be keeping up to date with dollar CAD. It's one of the pairs on my watch list, so I'm actively looking to see if I can find some positions on this one. Again, still probably 2, 3, 4 days maybe away from actually giving a setup, because we need to get there first, react well, before I do find an entry, but that's what I'm looking for, and targets back to support. I do think we can go further, but yeah, at least for the next few days, that's what I'm looking for, and then we can speak in a bit more detail about some further targets if we do see that progress. But for now, dollar CAD still looking at this bearish structure, and shorts at that zone. Nice area of supply, really strong drop. Makes a lot of sense to me. Aussie dollar, very interesting as well. Of course, another push down. Again, USD strength's going to affect all these USD pairs, so they're all going to move in a similar format. Of course, depending on the currency's width, it might be slightly stronger or weaker, as we saw with dollar CAD and then pound USD. Aussie wasn't particularly weak, so we didn't see such a violent move as compared to maybe pound USD, but still a pretty strong move, and price did react with resistance there. That's basically the setup we were talking about coming into the week. I'm not too sure about the longer term move for Aussie dollar. I think we are still quite flat as a pair. So the better opportunities with Aussie dollar is just focusing at the key areas of resistance and support, and that's really where your focus should be, not trying to find some intricate pullback opportunities, because the market isn't trending well. If it's not trending well, then looking for trending opportunities is just going to be difficult by default. Not that you won't be able to catch any, but it's just a harder environment, more likely to get wicked out, more likely to see momentum fail in these conditions. So the best way to trade them would be just taking advantage of the conditions, which you're seeing a lot of choppy behavior, price rejecting key levels of support and resistance. That's where you want to position yourself. And as we can see, price did react pretty well. Nice push down. I did say though, keep an eye on this area. So if you were short, if I was short here, that would be an area which I do keep a close eye on. If I do see sufficient rejection, I probably would just close that trade early, because I don't really have a bias for Aussie dollar. I'm looking at the higher time frames, looks really flat to me. I can see a world where we start to potentially roll over. I can see a world where maybe this trend does still have steam. Of course, USD will play a big part in that. So I don't really have a clear-cut bias. Therefore, just playing the highs and playing the lows is really how I see Aussie dollar for now. So even if we do take a push, take a dive back down to the low, I think that'll be a great place to pick up some longs again, and we'll go from there. So yeah, very, very flat price action, I must say, for Aussie dollar. New Zealand dollar, a bit more interesting. Didn't quite test the upper level of the channel I had, so that was a bit unfortunate, because I wanted to see a bit more upside there. And we did test this area of supply, so looks like that was enough for price to roll over. But I was kind of hoping for a bit more of a test of that trend line. We've seen some really nice reactions at that area, more or less. So I was kind of hoping to see price come in with that confluence. So you've got the confluence of the supply zone plus the trend line. You know, if you can see some rejection there, I think that's a smart place for a short. But unfortunately, we did fall a few pips short of that, and we are looking pretty bearish. So I wouldn't really do anything right now with New Zealand dollar, really. In the middle of the channel, that's where, again, a place which I want to stay far away from. If I'm looking for opportunities within a channel, it's up at the high or down at the low. In the middle is kind of where I do want to stay away. Even in descending and ascending channels, it's just not the best place to get involved. So I'll let price do what it wants here. It might want to come up again, might want to continue lower. We have to wait and see. If it does push to low again, naturally, there could still be a nice buy on that reaction. If we do push back to the upside and maybe see another higher low here form, then again, the shorts could come into play. But at the moment, middle of nowhere, I wouldn't really try and risk anything here with New Zealand dollar. So I'll stay away until we do get back to the highs or the lows of the channel. As for gold, yeah, very, very interesting. More momentum. I do think we saw new all-time highs. Yes, we did, plus past 3,500. So gold did do its job in that regard. A bit of a reaction afterwards. Momentum still on the up, so buy still look the best bet. Again, it would be nice to actually see a retest of this zone. I mean, we could probably argue we did see a retest, a very quick one. But it would be nice to see something a bit more like this for gold, which could actually set up a very nice swing trade, taking it back to highs and probably even further as well. But yeah, gold is really bullish at the moment. Yes, we've rejected the high, so maybe be a bit careful about longs in this area because we just had a nasty rejection. but momentum's still up. We're clearly breaking through key resistance. So I go to the daily chart. You can see we're now getting daily candle closures above this area. Weekly chart looking very, very bullish as well. So strength is really in favor of the bulls right now, and until I see some evidence that that's not the case anymore, so maybe some violent candlesticks closing to the downside, maybe breaking back underneath this level, then I'll probably start to back away. But for now, buys is definitely the best bet of gold, and still looking to take that higher. It makes the most sense. And likewise with silver as well, very, very bullish with this one. I actually probably like silver a little bit more. I'm keeping a close eye on this brief little range here. Also, this area looks really good as well, depending how deep of a pullback. Yeah, depending how deep of a pullback we get will of course depend on the area which we look to buy from. And of course, other factors like entry confirmations and how we do retrace will play a vital role in the level I do look to buy from. But either one looks really good to me at the moment. I'm not too sure if we will see a big enough pullback to get here. So I think in terms of just realistic areas to buy, this definitely does tick the box. But if we do have a deeper pullback than expected, then yeah, this level could do the job as well. But yeah, silver still very much in a long-term uptrend on the higher time frames. Momentum's picked up recently. Yes, that was a pretty big bearish candle, but in respective of that momentum, it hasn't really changed much. As long as we don't see maybe another big one pushing down, then maybe that will be a bit awkward. But for now, momentum is still very much with the buyers. Clear areas with demand, support and resistance below us. If we could see some healthy rejections at those areas, I think that's a smart place to long, back to highs, so on and so forth. So very, very bullish with silver, very, very bullish with gold at the moment. Still a lot of momentum in the market, just trying to take advantage of that. And we're in the best conditions for it. This is where momentum should be taken advantage of, when you're seeing clear trends with clear, decisive momentum in that favor. Try and take small pieces of the pie as we continue. I think that's the best way to tackle these type of markets. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with USD for now. And it has been interesting, to be honest. I did thought USD would likely just break lower, but it respected support, and we had a very violent reaction off that. What's up, Raphael? Yes, we'll take a look at dollar, CAD, and BTC for you, no problem. What's up, Dmar? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Bashi, my man, appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Share it with your friends, of course, that does help out. And of course, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. And drop a comment, drop a chat if you are looking at any markets, if you want to share any ideas, or if you just want a a particular request on a particular time frame, let me know and we can take a look. Okay, so I will go through some requests, but first I'll go through our DX platform as well. What's up, Ivan? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. What is up? Morning, Bashi. Hope you're doing good. FX book taking ages to update. Don't know why that is. Maybe they're having some issues or something. Bashi, in heaven? Why are you in heaven? D will tell you. What, you're in a nice trade or something? Actually, let me look at the platform first before I go through requests. I'll drop the link to our... Okay, so yeah, guys, if you haven't checked out the Google Docs form, if you are interested to check out the competition which we're doing on our Perps platform, do make sure you do put your email on the platform, and there'll be more information regarding the rules and how the competition does play out. But essentially, it would just be looking to trade cryptocurrencies on the Perps platform, similar to how you would trade CFDs, looking to buy, sell, speculate on price. So the concept of Perps trading is nothing potentially new to you. Again, the ease, the beauty of the platform is the flexibility and the ease of connecting to it via kind of any Solana or Ethereum wallets. If you don't even have a wallet, you can use your email address as well. So you can use that, but I would recommend to create a wallet if you don't have one and connect it to the platform. We're doing a competition. Again, there'll be rewards for the best performing traders there, but it's just a fun way to get you involved with the platform, how to use it. I do have a full video kind of breaking down and walking through the platform. It is on the channel, and the link to the platform itself is in the description below. But if you haven't checked it out yet, make sure you go do so. If you are interested in taking part in the challenge, again, it's a bit of fun. Nothing too serious. If you want to test out the platform and potentially earn some rewards for performing well, definitely check it out. And the link to it is in the chat if you are interested. 62.5 R in one trade. That is insane. How many pips was your stop loss for that? Yeah, I will take a look at dollar CAD and BTC, Raphael. Hour and 10 minutes. That's not bad. I mean, if you're trading on the 1 minute chart, that's a pretty big move, to be honest. That's 70 candles. Yeah, 62.5 R is insane. That's absurd numbers. 2.5 pips, 155 pip move. 155 pips is a lot for the 1 minute time frame. 155 pips is a lot for the 1 minute time frame. Sometimes my target's 155 pips. If I have like a 30, 40, 50 pip stop loss, 155 pips is a great return on a trade like that. So 2.5 pips for 155 pips is insane. That is an insane move. But yeah, as for dollar CAD on the weekly chart, very bearish still, even despite the bullish momentum we're seeing on the dollar. We're still rejecting a very key level, which is roughly around here. You can see with the wicks there, which is why I do like the pair, which is why it is on my watch list. So I do agree in terms of dollar CAD shorts. I'm looking at a lot more downside. You can see the consolidation there and the reaction to the downside. I do think we can see a push into that zone and get a continuation. So I'm liking what I'm seeing with dollar CAD, but it's still very early in the process of the trade setting up, because how we get there, how we retrace is going to play a big role in all of that. But I am looking at a continuation to the downside, back to these lows and back to these areas here as well. So with dollar CAD, I really like what I'm seeing. But it's still early. Like I said, if we do see some strength in this pullback, it will probably put me off the trade, to be honest, because it's kind of rounding off, which is not a good sign. You kind of want pullbacks to be a little bit more sharper, a bit more kind of corrective on the way up, not necessarily rounding like a bottom. But things can change and things can improve, so I'm not going to write it off just yet. In terms of the higher time frames, I really like what I'm seeing in terms of the structure, in terms of level we are rejecting. I like the momentum we've seen recently as well. Strong push down, brief correction / consolidation, another aggressive move to the downside there as well. If we can pull back, retest this area, I do think price can continue. So yeah, dollar CAD shorts, I do agree, not at current price though. If anything, we're coming back from support, demand. Not the best place to be shorting, in my opinion. But if you can return to around 1.382, 1.384, I think that's definitely an area to keep an eye on for some sells and see a push back to lows longer term. Of course, USD will play a vital role in that. If the DXY is going to be strong, we shouldn't see that move happen, to be honest. If DXY is going to be weak, then yeah, we could see that move. So I'll keep one eye on what the DXY is doing. But for now, that is definitely where my focus is. And BTC long as well. We can take a look at that, Raphael. On the 4 hour chart, yeah, I'm not too sure about longs, to be honest, for BTC. I mean, I like how corrective we are, so we can potentially see price, eventually pick up some momentum, because typically when we're corrective like this, we're normally expecting price to eventually break to the upside. Of course, how big of a move? Is it price looking to continue back to highs, or is it just potentially a lower high forming for us to continue lower? That could be the case as well. So it really depends. It really depends on BTC, but I wouldn't get too excited with longs, to be honest. And we still do have this counter trend line coming into play. I mean, would I look to short? Probably not. I don't like the way prices has pushed up. We've really found support here. You can see all those wicks, those rejections there. I don't think it's a great place to, not necessarily a great place, but I don't think that's a good sign to be looking to short after prices finding support so aggressively. So I wouldn't necessarily be looking to short BTC. Maybe if that counter trend line breaks, I think that's a sign of momentum stepping in. But again, I wouldn't be so confident with such a big move. Potentially a push here, maybe a push there, and that's about it. Because I'm looking at the higher time frames, and the fact that we did double top here, the fact that we did break some structure here as well, it's just not a good sign to be looking. Not a good sign to be looking for longs, but it's not necessarily a good sign to be trying to expect price to return back to highs so quickly. I could see a situation where we do push up, potentially put a lower high and continue lower. Maybe this is our bearish leg, we form a lower high, and then maybe we have another bearish leg on top of that. So yeah, I can see the logic there for some longs. I mean, we are testing some areas of demand to our left here as well. So naturally, we're in a bullish vicinity. So looking for longs, I think, is the right move. But I probably would wait for a break of the counter trend line just to really confirm momentum's in our favor. And in terms of targets, I would play it a bit more conservatively. A push there maybe, and a push there maybe. Of course, anything could happen. We could fly to highs. I just wouldn't necessarily bank on it, seeing what's happened recently. The double top, the break of structure, not really putting, not really showing strong signs of bullish confluence. If anything, it's a bit more bearish. So yeah, BTC, I would agree. We're really corrective now, so naturally I do expect price to push higher, but keep a watchful eye on those levels. I think they could make for healthy targets. Or at least just areas to manage the trade, whether you're looking to trail stops or locking gains, that'll be up to you, of course. But that is very much the plan there with BTC. But yeah, cryptocurrencies have been interesting. I do think there's a bit of a move to be had, but I don't want to get carried away with it. Raphael, yeah, BTC, we had a look. Do you shorts? Okay, so you caught the big collapse there for pound USD. Yeah, you can share it on Instagram. You used to be able to share it on the stream, on the chat, but yeah, I don't think you can send links still. But yeah, that was a big move. I mean, that's the beauty of of when volatility picks up, especially if you're in the right direction, of course. I mean, even if you're in the wrong direction, as long as you've got a stop loss, you're relatively fine. Maybe you could get slipped a little bit if it's a violent move. But if momentum picks up, that's, as traders, what we're looking for. People are normally quite scared of momentum, quite scared of things moving quickly. But as a trader, that's really what you want to see. As long as you're managing risk, you don't really have much to be scared about. Trading is risky business in general. You're not going to find a situation where there's no risk involved. But when momentum is involved, it can really help your trades out. Especially if you if you have a management plan which kind of allows you to maximize your winners. You could really kind of maximize your winners and get some big results, if things play out. Of course, it won't happen every time, and it's not something you can necessarily predict. But sometimes you just see a bit of momentum. If you're in the right direction, it's you do your best to take advantage of that as much as possible. Very violent move this morning. USD strength has definitely entered the market. And we're hitting some support now, so it depends what price is going to do next, but I'm not too sure, to be honest. We could bounce, we could continue. If we do continue, then I'm looking for a push to these lows. If we do bounce, we could turn right back around. What about X? For you, but I don't know if I can send a message to you in X. I didn't realize you followed me in X. Is it only if I follow you back you can send a message? To be fair, I don't use Twitter a lot, to be honest. So I have no idea. Yeah, just send it on Instagram. Because I barely use Twitter, to be honest. I think you sent the last question on Instagram, didn't you? I'm pretty sure you can send it there. If not, then I'll try and dig through my Twitter. At the moment, currently just managing Aussie yen. I think I did miss. I did miss a position on New Zealand CAD actually, which I didn't wake up in time and I missed the entry, so a bit gutted about that for New Zealand CAD. Really nice entry over here. Lovely break of a counter trend line. Price came back to respect a very solid level of support and resistance. 1, 2, 3, and resistance there. So this was the entry, just above the highs, looking for momentum and hopefully catching a big move down. I could potentially enter now, but it's a little bit late, and the fact that price has already found support here on a few occasions is a bit of a red flag. So despite the momentum we're seeing, shorting there is no longer a great prospect for me anymore. I did kind of short in a similar area before, but that's kind of expected momentum to kick in. It didn't. Now I've created a bit of a range here, so entries down here are a little bit late to the party, but ideally the entry there would have been very, very nice. Strong candle close, break through the counter trend line, of course rejecting key level of support, resistance, and of course in line with the bias, the plan, which is looking for this to eventually roll over, come back to some of these lows, come back to some of these lows as well. So I'm really bearish here with New Zealand CAD. I must say, very, very bearish with New Zealand CAD. I do expect a lot more downside. But yeah, unfortunately, I think I've missed the entry there. Unless price comes back up to retest the level again, which could happen. In all honesty, this is a bit of a range, so it could happen. I mean, I might find some other entries later on, but I have to be a bit careful because I don't want to be entering too late as well. But yeah, New Zealand CAD was definitely a pair I was watching. Yeah, didn't find the entry in time, and now it's a little bit late. So I'll monitor to see if I get a new entry, if a new entry does become available. But for now, yeah, no position on New Zealand CAD. I am in Aussie yen, which is finally starting to show some momentum. Most importantly, the yen is showing some momentum. Quite a lot of yen pairs have had some nice moves. And if you take a look at the yen basket, we did see the break of that counter trend line, which is kind of what I was hoping for with the yen, to really get the weakness going and get the yen pairs trending to the upside. We finally actually did get the break. We got a nice breaking retest yesterday. The momentum really kicked in kind of late yesterday, early this morning. So the yen is looking relatively weak. We are testing some areas of support, so maybe we do start to stagnate a little bit, but it looks like, at least for now, we've chosen a bit of a direction. But I do worry that, again, we can still very much bounce at these areas. So it's not like price is broken out of this range. We're kind of just seeing momentum within the range, which, again, as I say, is always a bit of a tough call because that could easily turn around pretty quickly. So I do like the counter trend line break. It's a great sign. If I go to the daily chart, you can see we do have a longer trend line, which is still in play, still respecting price. So you can see this trend line, multiple tests. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Multiple tests of this trend line, and price has really been respecting it very well. And now it looks like we're still continuing that. And maybe price is still going to push back to the lows here as well. So I really like what I'm seeing with the yen. Overall weakness, overall the trend is still down. And I'm basically just trying to take advantage of that on Aussie yen. And it looks like we're seeing some signs of continuation, but we still do have some support to break to really get going. But the key thing about this trade is that we've broken out the channel, well and truly broken out the channel. I've trailed my stops to underneath the low there. So, worst case, we'll take whatever that is. I think that's just below a 1-to-1. Yeah, 0.88. So Worst case scenario, we'll take the stop out here, but I do just want to actively now trail the stop loss. If I can get it back to highs, I could even just close the trade there. I'll be happy with a 2.25 there and just walk away. To be honest, if I'm seeing some healthy signs of momentum, maybe I just trail a bit more aggressively. It depends. It depends on momentum, depends how things are looking. There's a couple of avenues or options I could take, but more or less just looking to now actively trail the stop loss as we continue. It looks like I have managed to catch the low now, so we'll see if this can continue. I also do have some extended targets at the highs there. Maybe we do manage to get there as well. But all in all, it looks like weakness is stepping in. We're seeing some strength with some of the yen pairs. Pound yen was a bit of an awkward one because despite the strength we've seen recently, we've also seen some weakness and also to do with pound. So this one has just been back and forth. But like I said, if price does reach the high of the range again, the best thing to do is just be looking to short it. Unless, of course, you're seeing some signs that price is breaking out. That's a different situation. But if price does make a move to the high of the range, you're looking to short, 7, 8 times out of 10. Unless we're seeing some big candles closing above the range, which in this case we didn't see. I do think entry now would be a little bit late to the party. If you were to enter here, stops would be above the high, and maybe you're targeting the low there. So you're looking probably about 1-to-1, probably even less than a 1-to-1 actually. So I would suggest entering like a lower time frame just to really take advantage of the move and make the risk reward to count for a lot more. Of course, you could see a push here, but based on how choppy we are, based on the yen weakness we're seeing as well, I would say this is a safer bet, and I wouldn't be surprised if you do turn around. So yeah, the yen basket, not the yen basket, but the yen basket is weak, but it does look like the yen pairs have seen some strength. Of course, pound yen still stuck at resistance. I'm still waiting to see if we can break through. I think that will be the bigger move for pound yen, if we can manage to clear this resistance. If we do, then I do think the next big target will be a push all the way back to the level there at 207, 208, and there could be a lovely trend to follow. But we can speak about that when it does fall. Still a long way away. But yeah, it looks like the yen is starting to get some weakness. All right, no problem, Bashi, no problem. Jeremy, appreciate it. What's up? Hope you're doing good. Please, do you think pound USD will continue to drop? I have no idea, Jeremy. I have no idea. You're basically asking, will price break support or not? Which is really 50-50, to be honest. Again, I'm always under the impression if price... I'm always kind of expecting price to bounce at an area until I'm proven wrong. That's normally my default guess, if you will. I mean, the reason you say that maybe because you're in a pound short, and you're kind of wondering if to hold to the position or not, or maybe in a pound long, and same thing, should I hold the position or not? Again, I can't look into the future, so I can't give you a concrete answer on that. What are my initial expectations? Well, it's a really strong level. I could see price bouncing, to be honest, but again, that's just me thinking out loud. In terms of actually getting a deep understanding on what price is likely to do, what I want to see is a bit more candlesticks print here. I want to see a bit more information. Do wicks continue to print? Well, if wicks continue to print, then as time continues, I'll be expecting a push up. If momentum is still going or still seeing strength, then yeah, maybe we do get the breakout, but it's too early to say which I'm expecting price to do or not. There's just not enough information there. We literally just got at the zone just now. So yeah, I can't really give you much analysis into that just yet. I need some more candlesticks to print more information to gauge what we're doing, because this was a really strong move, a lot of strength in that. If price suddenly starts to slow down, provide wicks, then yeah, I would favor a bounce, but we're not quite there yet. It is a very significant support, and if it does break, then there's a lot of room. I'll be expecting pound to get back to these lows here, and that would actually be a setup that does interest me. Lebsy, yes, we can take a look at pound Aussie for you, no problemo. Raphael, is it a good time to short pound yen? We can take a look at that. Again, for a small move, I mean, we just went through that. I mean, I can quickly go over it again. But like I said, for a small move back to this area, sure. I think that's a move that you can be fairly confident with pound yen, because this is a very strong rejection. So something there I would suggest makes sense. Maybe if things go very well, you do see that move as well. So there is opportunity there, but you probably got a good chance of seeing price there, and much less of a chance of seeing price here. So I would suggest if you do get short, be prepared to close the trade here or take significant profit if you're seeing some red flags, rejection occurring. If, of course, momentum picks up and we start to see price breaking out, great, you can hold to that position, trail stops. But yeah, it is a good place to short, especially if you can get a stop above the high. Preferably, I would like to be in a little bit earlier, just because this support is not too far away. So entering here, you're probably looking at like a 1-to-1 to get there, which is not the worst in the world, especially if you're going to try and hold for the bigger move as well. But yeah, entering a little bit earlier, you could have doubled that risk reward pretty easily, to be honest. But yeah, I would say it's not a bad time, especially if you get stop loss above the high. Just be watchful of that zone there. And yeah, if you're seeing some signs of a breakout, then there is some room to move into 195.5. Looks good to me. Let's go through pound Aussie. So pound Aussie is an interesting one. It's been pretty bearish for the past maybe week or two. Still within the bigger range as well, so I'm not reading too much into price action. You've got your equal highs over there. You've got your equal lows running through the market over there. So I don't really know what the bigger move will be until we do get that breakout. As price does head towards the support level, I'm looking to buy again, just like I did probably about a month ago now. If price reject well there, I'll be happy to take a buy and see if we do continue back to resistance. If we do see a breakout, then things do get very interesting, because I'm looking at potentially this uptrend hitting a bit of a top potentially. And if we do start to see some downside, I wouldn't be surprised to see us come back and kind of retest this kind of area around 1.99. So I do think there's actually quite a lot of room for us to fall into. So if we do see price break to the downside, I will be very much interested in some break opportunities, break and retest opportunities to really take this lower. So yeah, it really depends what price does at that support level. Do we respect it again? Do we break through? We'll get more information as price gets that area and starts reacting with it. At the moment, things are looking pretty bearish right now. So I do think we'll see more downside for us to at least get there. Maybe if you're intraday, you're probably looking at some short opportunities like this, because you don't want to see price take out this high here. So as long as price can respect that, you can still find intraday opportunities to short. And yeah, support around 2.05 makes for a good target. So yeah, pound Aussie looking bearish right now, still within the larger range. So still expecting a bit more downside for us to at least get to support. And then it's just keeping up to date, monitoring price, what we're doing here. Always seeing signs of a breakout. Always seeing signs of price respecting the zone and about to turn. That will provide us the information and what setup we should keep an eye on. But I would say it's quite 50-50 at this moment in time. I do think eventually we will get the bearish move, so that's what I'm expecting. But we could very much bounce first before that happens, so don't want to rule that out. But yeah, that's kind of my take on pound Aussie at the moment. Okay, Savvy, we'll take a look at New Zealand CAD. So yeah, New Zealand CAD, like I said, I did miss an entry on this one, so I'm actually a bit disappointed. Yeah, didn't wake up in time for the entry, unfortunately. But it was a lovely entry this morning, I have to admit. Really corrected push into the zone. Really lovely support once, twice, a third time. We've got 2 attempts of price trying to break above it, failing to do so. So coming back for the retest essentially. Lovely break of the counter trend line. Nice closure, strengthen the candle, showing momentum. That's a really healthy break of a counter trend line. A lovely entry there, stops above the high. So that, in hindsight, would have been a very nice entry. Of course, you have seen a lovely candlestick continue that momentum. We are back at support, so we might struggle here a little bit. But again, my analysis for New Zealand CAD has been pretty bearish for the past couple of weeks. we've been in this range, but it looks to me that price has slowly been breaking out. Price has been providing some really nice lower lows and lower highs, and now I'm expecting that to continue on the way back down in terms of targets, looking at push to this low and eventually push to that low as well. So really bearish on New Zealand CAD. It looks like we're seeing some momentum continue. Of course, we had this outstanding breakout past couple of weeks, and the plan basically is looking for continuation of that momentum. As long as price does not break through this high, I stay bearish on New Zealand CAD and stay looking for a lot more downside back to the lows at 0.799. So yeah, lovely break and retest. Looks like momentum's here. Because I've missed that entry, the next best opportunity would either be price finding support here again and pushing up for a third time. That would be the best possibility, really, if we could see that happen. Or waiting for price to show continuations below support again, looking for some type of pullback for another retest, and then just continue momentum from then onwards. Otherwise, it might be a trade that we've kind of missed. So yeah, New Zealand CAD, really bearish on, expecting more downside. Perhaps keep an eye on the break and retest. That might be the next best opportunity. If we do come back to resistance again, keep an eye on that as well. But next big target around 0.8 is where I do see price heading towards. We're seeing a lot of strength with this bearish momentum, and I think we can continue a lot lower. So yeah, hopefully that made sense in New Zealand CAD, but yeah, unfortunately did miss out on that push. If we could go, no problem, Lebsy, happy to help. And I don't know what the zeros mean there. Is that innocent? Innocent? If I'm saying that correctly. Yeah, I have no idea what you mean by the zeros. Bashi, I think I can see your message. Yeah, that is insane. A stop loss looks something you see in a fairy tale. Yeah, that is impressive. Is that? Did you have a target that far away, or was it a situation where momentum just picked up and you decided to stay in the position? I mean, especially with the momentum like that, you're just going to kind of continue. Yeah, I'm not sure what the zeros mean, Innocent. Market maker. Okay, let runners run. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, especially in that situation when momentum picks up. Because you don't know how far price is going to go as well. It could just keep falling as well, especially with the speed and how price is moving. And again, that's really all what trading is. That's really all what trading is. Just letting, making the most out of your winners and keeping the losses small. If you do that, then eventually you're gonna put the probability in your favor. If of course you're doing the opposite, letting your losers run, having bigger losers than winners, it's gonna be difficult in the long term to stay afloat, because you might take a loss and then need 2 or 3 winners just to make back one loss. That means you're always on the back foot. You always have to hit a nice winning streak to stay afloat. And if one loss can potentially just wipe that out, it's going to be very difficult to stay in the game for the long run. But if you reverse that and keep the losses small, even if you do take a bunch of losses in a row, if you do have one winner that can wipe that all out, it makes trading so much easier, so much more stress free. And again, don't necessarily have to have crazy risk rewards, but as long as the sum of the winners is just outweighing the losses, whether you're taking 1 to 2s or maybe 1 to 10s, it's up to you how you want to manage that. But yeah, just making sure that your winners are on average bigger than your losses would definitely do wonders for your trading. Okay, partial data points, okay. Any clips, I'm saying that correctly. News took out all my trades before I could enter, so no profit. Yeah, that happens sometimes as well. Again, news goes both ways. That's the way I look at news. Sometimes it will help you, sometimes it will hurt you. Sometimes you're gonna be in the right direction, sometimes you're gonna be in the wrong direction. So don't take it to heart. The news wasn't out to get you personally. Trust me, potentially the next news event that you're involved in may go in your favor, and maybe you're already in the positions and you do take advantage of them and you walk away with some profit. So as long as you're managing risk, that's the key thing, because that's why news is dangerous, and that's why it's such a big buzzword, and that's why people get excited, because things happen quickly. You can lose quickly, lose a lot potentially. You can win quickly and make a lot potentially as well. So as long as you can manage your risk and keep the downside managed, there's nothing really to be scared about, because trading's all about risk. You're not going to make a profit without risking something. So risk is always something you're going to encounter in trading, and as long as you can manage whatever that risk is, then you just want to position yourself well in the market. And whether there's news or no news, of course, within reason, that's all you have to worry about as a trader. Temel, what's up? Yes, pound NZD we can take a look at, no problem. Okay, partial at 20 pips. There's about 40 pips and then left to run. Okay. Then roll stops with one structure. Okay, nice. Yeah, I mean, that sounds like an effective way to manage the trade, even with a trade as big as that. Yeah, of course. Because imagine if you just close the trade early. You miss out on all that potential profit. The thing is, you don't know how far a trade's going to go. So stress-free indeed. Exactly, stress-free indeed. The thing about trading is, like, you close a trade potentially, and then you don't know how far it will go. Maybe you closed it at the right time, and maybe price does reverse from wherever you close it, or maybe it does continue for another 200 pips potentially. Again, trading is such a difficult thing to do in hindsight. You've got to just make sure that the decisions you're making are from good logic and it makes sense. And if that's the case, that's all you can really pat your back. That's all you can really go from. I think a key element is also just to review your trades as well, because especially when I was looking through my trades a couple years ago, I could see that I was leaving a lot of pips on the table, and seeing some trades running for like really big risk rewards, but I was out a lot earlier, especially with swing trading as well, because you'll be out of a trade and then you forget about it. But if you look back in a couple of weeks, you kind of see, okay, I was in here, I got out here, but price still continued. How next time can I take advantage of that and not get out too early? And that's where the improvement will be. And same with losses as well. If you get out here, how could you potentially get out a bit sooner? Reduce that risk a little bit. Anyway, in terms of pound NZD, things are quite interesting. I quite like this level, which is why I've highlighted it. I think that's a smart place for a buy. I'm not so convinced anymore that pound NZD is just gonna continue back to highs and just go plain sailing. I do think the trend is hitting a top soon, and we could be looking at a bit of a dive to the downside. Yeah, I do think that is on the cards. But for now, we've got to trade what's in front of us, which is still very much a bullish market. We're still above very key resistance, which of course will be acting as support. For the most part, we are still very corrective in the way down. We did have this up move, which I did talk about. Yesterday I said be careful about this zone. It very much could take us lower, because we were testing this area of demand, but I said watch out for this area because we could see price put another lower high in. It looks like we've just seen that happen, but the buys still look good regardless. So I would still be keeping an eye on this area. Again, let's see how we get there, how we react. If things look good, I think that's a smart place for a buy. Again, I wouldn't necessarily be banking on a push all the way back to highs. I'll be very watchful of this counter trend line. I think that could be a very nice target to have initially. Of course, you could target further than that. That makes perfect sense as well, because we could still continue. But if you're seeing some red flags here, some signs of heavy rejection, you can always just close the trade a little bit early and walk away. But it's a very key level. We never really had a breaking retest of the zone when we had the breakout. So this is essentially price coming back for the first retest of the area. Provided things look good, strong entry confirmations, I think you're entering at a nice area. You're in favor of the higher time frame trend as well. So you do have that natural confidence for the trade. And for the most part, we are quite corrective on the way down too. So it gives an impression that we're likely to bounce. Just, I would be not so aggressive targets, at least straight away. You know, let's say if you do take a trade and momentum just picks up and you see price break the level, break the counter trend line well, then of course you can be a bit more aggressive. But if we're slow, a little bit tired looking, and price starts to reject the highs here at the trend line, could be a sign to lock in some gains or just remove some risk. You know, you don't have to exit completely, but that's something to keep an eye on. But yeah, for now, pound NZD, I do think we can continue falling. And then from 2.27, that's where I would suggest keep an eye for some longs. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with pound NZD. What's up, Ferragams? Welcome to the stream. Hope you are doing good. No problem. Don't have to apologize you're late. I'm not clocking you in, Ferragams, but hope you are doing good. But watch again. Okay, no worries. Yeah, all streams are on the channel. So if you do miss a stream or you are late, you know, you can always watch it back in your own time if you want. Does anyone know anything about you talking about derivatives or what's deriv? If it's deriv, then yeah, I can't help you because I don't know what that is either. But actually, I think I made 25, 30k on the trade or something. Too many accounts. Oh, okay, using a trade copier. Because I'm gonna say if you don't even know how much the return is, you've got to be using a trade copier then. But yeah, I mean that is a monster position, Bashi. All right, no problem. UNZD, yes, we can take a look as well, Timel, no problem. We can go through oil as well, no problemo. Of course, if there's any particular time frames you want me to look at as well, you can let me know. Of course, most of the time I'm on the 4-hour chart, daily chart mostly. But if you do want me to take a look at any particular time frames, let me know. Okay, yeah, edge-based data allow runners to capitalize on big moves. Yeah, of course. I mean, not every trade is going to be a massive runner. Yeah, not every trade. Not every trade is going to be winning either. But yeah, of course, not every trade is going to be a massive runner. I think just allowing yourself the opportunity to capitalize on big runners is just the important part, really. But yeah, every trade is not going to be the home run. In fact, they're going to be very few and far between, really. But when they do come, you just want to make sure that you have the capabilities to take advantage of it. As for UNZD, we are quite overextended here as well. Similar to pound NZD, I do think both of them are kind of coming to top soon and looking to kind of roll over and see some downside. Drop into the daily chart, we've just about swept the highs here, so I do think we're in some vulnerable areas where, you know, sooner or later we should do something like this. But again, that's just me thinking a little bit more into the future. We got to trade what's in front of us, which is still a relatively bullish market. I did say some buys from the retest of this area would be my best, kind of best possible scenario, best setup really. If price can continue lower, then see like a strong break of this counter trend line, you know, as we do react with that area, that would be a very nice confluence for the trade. But it looks like we got it a little bit earlier, but I'm not quite convinced, to be honest. I'm not quite convinced. The breakout wasn't spectacular. We're seeing some wicks already. I wouldn't be surprised if we do go through another sell-off, to be honest. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. So I would still probably hold out for some buys from this area. Look to see if we can get another push down and maybe a better entry does form afterwards. Of course, how we react with that area will be very, very important. But we still do have a very clean uptrend. So my bias is still very much bullish. Of course, taking into account what the higher time frames are doing, we are still seeing a very bullish market as well. So yeah, going forward, I do expect to see more upside. But yeah, I'm not in love with the price action right now, especially with these exaggerated wicks. Kind of looks to me that price is having like a slightly deeper correction before we do see a push back down. So I am not a big fan of that at all. So yeah, going forward for USD, keep an eye on this zone. I do think we can still get there, and then we'll go through a bounce. And again, targets naturally back at highs, but be flexible. If price does start to tire, maybe we do end up forming a lower high and pushing back down. Be prepared for that. But yeah, for now, that's still very much the take on USD. I will go through oil next as well. Okay, yeah, definitely need a trade copy for 11 accounts. 100%. 0.25 risk, if I risk 0.5. Yeah, I mean, if you risk 3%, it will be even more. I mean, again, that's risk percentage, to be honest. But again, especially when you got a larger account size, you don't need to be risking too much, because you don't want trading to be kind of something where you get too excited or too fearful with how much you're risking. You know, if you can risk amounts where you're still seeing decent returns, but you're not too bothered really if it's a losing position. It's not like crisis. That's the best place to be in, because then you can kind of just trade for what the markets are providing you, not so much about monetary gain, which of course, you know, we're all here for monetary gain, of course, but that only comes if you're trading well. And if the risk is too big and you're kind of sweating when you do take positions, then you're not going to be at your best. Yeah, I'll probably rather risk less than what I should be risking if I can be more focused with the charts itself. You know, if whatever what I'm risking, if I'm kind of cautious, a bit anxious with that position size, I'd rather risk less, be more confident with my trades. You know, focus on the price action, focus on the art of trading itself, and make less, but be more confident with everything. I'd rather do that, to be honest. And then just build up risk as you get more confident. Anyway, let's take a look at oil. I haven't actually looked at oil in a couple days. Actually, probably more than a couple days now. Oh, okay. Okay, explains why CAD's so strong, to be honest. Explains why CAD's so strong. Last time I looked at oil, I believe will probably be around here. Yeah, last week Wednesday, last week Thursday, around there somewhere. But yeah, very strong push, and we are back above significant support resistance. Well, I'll probably still wait for the weekly to confirm that, but this is the level which I've been keeping my eye on for the past probably good past 6 months now, to be honest, probably even longer. But very significant level here, trading at 65, and yeah, keeping a close eye. We did break underneath the level, so effectively this still potentially could act as resistance, and we could still see price lower, push price lower. If we do, let's say if we do close strongly back above here this week, and I'm looking at that as another fake out to the downside, and I'll be expecting somewhat of an uptrend to form, a lot more upside for oil. So from a weekly perspective, I do want to see a little bit more strength before really having that bullish bias. From a daily perspective, we are breaking back above some key resistance here. It was respecting price pretty well last week, but of course we can see that is no longer the case. And from a daily perspective, it looks like we already had a bit of a fake out of this area. So now that we're starting to see some bullish structure form, now we're starting to break back above key resistance, I would suggest if we can pull back, retest the zone, I think that would be a great place to look for some longs and a push higher up, especially for the remainder of the week as well. So if I was looking to trade oil, I would say my focus probably would be on this area here. Nice consolidation, really nice break to the upside. So it's showing like a very strong area of demand. I would suggest a pullback into this area, and then some buying opportunities, entry confirmations is really what I'll be looking for. I really like these higher lows here, connecting the dots. 1, 2, 3, perhaps a fourth. It'd be nice if we have a deeper test of that area, and then look for some buys off the back of that, and then we'll go from there. So I like the buys in the lower time frames. I would say the weekly still needs to see how we close to really confirm things on that time frame. But from a daily perspective, already back above significant support, and we're already starting to see some bullish structure form as well. Low, high, low, of course, a new high there. So yeah, pullback, some more upside look good. Momentum's looking good. Seeing an established bullish trend now. And of course, if you can get the retest of this consolidation, get the retest of the trend line, and the retest of the daily zone, for me, that's strong layers backing up a buy. And then we'll go from there. Targets, maybe around here. That's a strong supply zone. That could probably push us back down. 66.5, I would say keep an eye on that. I mean, there is a world where we do see a push all the way back to these areas, but I'll probably keep an eye on some areas before that, just in case we do see some signs of rejection, but there is upside potential. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with oil. I have to say, I do like the price action though. The way we're picking up pace, picking up steam, I do like it. Hey, no problem, Bashi. Appreciate it. Yeah, exactly. You know, risk is not always about it's not always about profit. It's always, I mean, risk is not always about how much potential you can make. It's almost how much you could potentially lose as well. And again, like I said, risk is such a personal thing as well. It's such a personal thing. Some people are a little bit more aggressive in nature and have a little bit more of an appetite for risk. So risking higher percentages they can be relatively comfortable with. Of course, there's the drawdown that comes with it, so they have to be able to stomach the drawdown as well. And if that is doable, you have to take the bigger risks, the bigger drawdowns, and you can trade well from it and still focus on the strategy, focus on the entries, focus on the exits. Then that's great. If you want to risk a little bit less, again, account size does play a big part in that as well. If you've got a larger account size, you can afford to risk a lower percentage as well, and that allows you to be more comfortable, that allows you to trade better, then that's probably where you want to be. There is no right or wrong percentage risk, I would say. I mean, anything I would say over like 10%, I would, again, it's not necessarily wrong, but you're asking for a lot of trouble. Anything more than 10%, anything more than 5%, you're asking for a lot of trouble as well. But you'd be surprised, some people do get away with risking that much, but they're more focused on rapid growth, not long-term sustainability. Small kind of flip their account pretty quickly, and then probably once they hit a certain target, I cash out. If you're looking for growth, sustainable growth, trade the same account for years upon years, then you're looking anything below 2% really. Hey, what's up, Yusuf? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Good morning, Yusuf. Welcome to the stream. Hope you are doing good. What is up? I'm doing good today. Hope you're well. I appreciate it, Bashi. Thank you. Yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. And of course, drop any messages you have in the chat, any questions, queries, markets you want me to take a look at, let me know. And of course, timeframes as well. Let me know if you do have any timeframes you want me to take a look at in particular. Yusuf, Euro, GU on the 15, sure thing, my man, we can take a look. Yeah, exactly. And again, depends on the accounts as well. If you train with prop firms or train your personal account, that's going to be a difference as well, because prop firms will have different rules. Personal account, you kind of make up your own rules, so you would have different risks there as well. Again, there's so many factors. Like I said, there's no right and wrong. I mean, there's no right and wrong really in it, kind of anywhere of trading. I would say the only right and wrong in trading is just maximizing wins, minimizing losses. That's the only right and wrong I would say. If you're doing the opposite of that, then I think that is categorically wrong in terms of profitable trading. Anything else is really to do with preference and just kind of what your aim is with trading, your personal situation, what you're looking to do. A bit of personality as well will play a role in that as well. But yeah, that's the only categorically thing I would say is right and wrong. Just keeping losses small, maximizing winners. Anything else, strategy, plan, method of entry, exit, management, whatever, you can really much put your own flavor in anything. But yeah, as for euro, really strong rejection from the high. Of course, we've seen some strength from the dollar this morning, and that has filtered into pretty much all the USD pairs quite nicely, some more than others. But yeah, euro pretty considerable rejection off the high there. The plan really now for euro is just to see if we can get back to the low. Again, on the 15-minute chart, I wouldn't say there's a lot to do here. Really strong rejection off the high. We're down in the middle of nowhere, really. I wouldn't be looking to buy. I wouldn't be looking to sell. Maybe if we'd see a move all the way back up here, potentially that might be something to short. But again, personally, I wouldn't get too excited because we're in the middle of the range, really. Shorting at the high would be the best place for it, or buying at the low would be the best place for it. Here wouldn't be as great of a place, but it's a nice level of supply. It can give us a reaction. But again, if you're looking for quality, you want to be at the highs and lows of the range, really. So naturally, you're kind of waiting for a push back to these areas and then seeing what we do next. Perhaps there's some nice buying opportunities, or perhaps we're breaking out and we're looking for price to continue lower. So even from a 50-minute point of view, the analysis is pretty much the same as the 4-hour, waiting for price to push into support, and then we'll monitor what price does there. If rejection looks good, perhaps we're speaking about some buys. If we're breaking through, then we can talk about the selling opportunities, whether the breakouts or waiting for a retest, depending on whatever looks good at the time. But yeah, middle of nowhere right now, so not a lot to speak about there. For euro, in terms of pound though, we are testing some major support. So naturally, we're in an area where we could definitely bounce and see some upside from. As you can see, support once, twice, arguably a third time. We didn't quite test it, but we came in the vicinity more or less of that area, and of course we're testing that area there again. So this is an area which price can bounce for pound USD. On the 50-minute chart, yes, we're seeing some wicks, but I wouldn't say the rejection is particularly significant right now. I like the fact that we are starting to slow down and momentum is decreasing, but we haven't seen a notable rejection or wicks or even a consolidation that has really sustained quite a while. So we're finding support, but no sign of price about to turn around. So I'll keep an eye for pound. In terms of the location, like I said, kind of the low of the range, this is definitely a place where if price wants to bounce, we could see a meaningful move to the upside. But we had a lot of selling pressure here, so it's very, very vital we do see significant rejection before jumping back in, because there's a lot of bearish momentum right now. And if you're going to jump in front of that, you want to have some strong backing to support the idea that price is about to turn around. So yeah, going with pound USD at key support, yes, buys look good in this area in general, but the entry confirmations I wouldn't say are there yet. So keep an eye on price to see how we react. If things develop well, momentum shifts in, perhaps there could be some nice buys to talk about. And likewise, if we do break through support, then this comes my longer term target back down at these lows. Yeah, if I do see a significant break, I'll be really bearish, looking for a push. Looking for a push eventually back to the lows there. But for now, difficult to say what we'll get. The bounce or the breakout, I am not too sure. Need a bit more information. Need some more candles to help kind of paint the picture. But yeah, pound USD, really bearish. Euro, really bearish. Approaching key support, at least for pound USD anyway. Potentially could be some buys there. Euro, nowhere near support or resistance. So I'd wait for that one to continue a little bit lower. And then when we do get to support, we can chat about opportunities. But yeah, that's the best I've got on the 15 for them. Okay, where was I? So yeah, I hope that made sense on Euro and GU. Tamil, New Zealand CAD. Yes, we can take a look. Pound Aussie as well, no problemo. We can take a look. Michelle, good morning. Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. New Zealand CAD, Pound Aussie. I appreciate that, Bashi. We can take a look. US 30 as well. Yep, we can take a look. No problem. We haven't looked at US 30 yet. I don't think we've gone for any indices. But yeah, we can definitely take a look. Michelle, no problem. Thanks, Bashi. Okay, so yeah, New Zealand CAD looking very bearish last time I checked. Looks like that CAD strength is really coming to play. But yeah, really nice move down. I did miss an entry on this one, so a little bit disappointed in that. Really nice entry at that level there. So yeah, I'm waiting for the next available opportunity, whether we push back up into resistance again and then potentially get a sell from there, or price has another breakout, because we are forming a bit of a miniature range right now, equal lows, equal highs here, so we are quite flat. But if we do see another break, perhaps we can talk about another short coming into play. But in terms of the bias, I am really bearish on New Zealand CAD. I'm looking at this bearish trend which has formed recently. I'm simply looking at that continuing back into these lows, and then potentially these lows here eventually as well. So I'm liking what I'm seeing with the direction for New Zealand CAD. Momentum is picking up. We saw a lot of strength with this bearish candle here as well. I do think price can continue lower. We were in this range for quite some time, but it looks like we've eventually spilled out. And as long as price does not take out this high here, I would stay pretty bearish for New Zealand CAD, and I would expect a lot more downside for this one. So I've been really bearish, just missed the entry, to be honest, so a little bit gutted with that. So yeah, looking for opportunities to see if I can get back involved. If not, it is what it is. There's always other markets, other opportunities around the corner. But I do like this one, especially because that momentum and that force is there. So that gives me the impression that the trend still has steam and still can continue to the downside. But in targets, these are the two lows I'm keeping an eye on. So yeah, potentially break and retest, or we pull back to highs if we're going to get another opportunity for New Zealand CAD. In terms of Pound Aussie still very much well within the range. So the focus is what we do between the levels, really. Do we reject the highs? Do we reject the lows? It's going to be up to price here. If price does get back to support again, I'll be looking to buy the market again. As soon as we get to the range low, if the rejection is significant enough, I'll be happy to find some longs. And at the same time, if we do break to the downside and break outside the range, I'll be happy to be looking for some shorts as well for a push lower. So yeah, I mean, I do think Pound Aussie, eventually is going to take a dive and see some downside. We've taken out some major highs in the COVID high over there. This trend's been bullish since October, September 2022. So almost 3 years now, actually. Actually, no, it's 3 years. September. It's September already, 2025. So yeah, it's been a while. And I do think now that we have taken out key highs, we've also rejected them very well. I do think at least another retracement could be on the cards. I'm not necessarily calling for the end of this trend, but I would bet on that. We do probably see a bit more downside. So if we do manage to break out the range, I think shorts look really good. There's room for us to fall into, looking around 1.995 really. But yeah, we'll gauge that when we get to the support level. Do we break it? Do we respect it? That's what I'll be looking at and take into consideration to place my next trade. But for now, not quite there yet. And as for US 30, this one, interesting. Again, we still do have the significant break of resistance outside of this area here. Really nice level of resistance, as we can see. And I'm looking to see what price can do at this level. Can we bounce? Can we see some upside? I do think this is a smart place for some longs. As long as price doesn't break back within this area, then I'm happy with the buys. If price does break back within that area, then this to me turns into a really big fake out, and yeah, I'll be switching my bias to bearish at that point really. with US30, which I don't mind entirely because I think there could be some nice shorts following that, somewhat of like a head and shoulder pattern, left head, right shoulder, retest of that structure. I think the shorts could look really, really good. So if that does happen, there will be opportunities regardless, but for now, I am still bullish because we're still above that key level. This is still significant support. In terms of opportunities, this is really what I'm looking at, a bounce here, a push back to highs, and then hopefully some new highs. If this trend's going to continue, I expect it to continue from there. If this is going to collapse and be a high, then we should break through, and then naturally there should be some nice shorts to follow after that. So I can see price going both direction. It depends what opportunity price wants to present us. At the moment, we're heading to support now. So let's see what price does. We'll probably, as the week progresses, we'll probably see what price is going to do, what the next move is likely going to be. And then, of course, if you do break underneath, we'll keep an eye on the retest as well. But for now, that is what I am favoring. What's up, Pavinator? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. Happy Tuesday. I am doing well. Yeah, big drop in Aussie dollar. USD strength coming into play. Still looking for the next entry. Still looking at 0.66 to 50, something like that. I'm pretty sure that's the level you mentioned last time. Yeah, I mean, Aussie dollar's looking interesting. I mean, we did come back to the high and respect it well. Again, the strength for USD did really come in and play a big role. Again, my take on Aussie dollar was that price is really flat. So if you're looking for opportunities here, you're more so just looking to take advantage of the big levels in the market, the significant levels, buy and sell from those areas. Not so much looking to follow trends or follow momentum. More so just to place yourself at key areas, because when the market's flat, when we're not really having much direction, the best thing to do is just place yourself at those key areas, because you're likely to see reactions. You might not necessarily catch a big move, but you're likely to catch a move. And depending how you're managing that, maybe you stay in for the long run, maybe you're in and out very quickly. As with this level, key resistance there, looking left, really strong move down. We came there again, really nice and corrective, really nice strong candle close, and that did send us to the downside. So really nice rejection from the high. I also spoke about the retest of the high. I think this is the level you were speaking about last time, which again, let's say if price didn't respect this area and continued, that would have been a really nice place to short as well. The market's quite flat, coming back to significant reaction. Again, we might not necessarily see price plummet back to these lows, but I would bet on us seeing at least a reaction, maybe to come back and retest this level, and that could be worthwhile taking advantage of. So yeah, what next for Aussie dollar? Well, now that we have seen the reaction off that level, I did speak about some longs back here again. I think that's a smart place for a buy. Essentially, we're starting to form a bit of a range here, equal highs, equal lows. So if price does return back to the low, by default, that's going to be a nice place for a bounce. So yeah, that's where my next focus would be. If price does climb higher, then again, that could also be another place for a short. But if you do climb higher, then again, that would be an area to focus on as well. So again, just looking at the key levels with Aussie dollar, we're not really trending well. So I'm not going to treat it like a trending market. Just looking at the more significant areas and buying and selling from them. But yeah, very nice move this morning. USD strength has really come into play. Lighton, what's up? Story in New Zealand dollar. Okay, we'll take a look. Kindly check after request the pairs along with pound CAD. Okay, no problemo. Oh, pound CAD broke my heart. Yeah, it was a very aggressive move this morning. Very aggressive move. I'll go through New Zealand dollar and pound CAD. So of course, another USD pair. This one was just a bit awkward, I'm not gonna lie. We just missed the trend line, which was a bit annoying. Really nice retest with these areas 1, 2, 3. Looking for the fourth, just for price to come back and test the trend line. Of course, we had that nice area of supply which was running through a similar territory, so nice kind of overlap of confluence there. It looks like price just retested that zone, and that was enough. Of course, we saw the USD strength kick in, and price did fall there. So New Zealand dollar, it's a bit of an awkward place right now. It's a place which I would stay away from. As I've said, if I'm looking to trade in a descending channel or ascending channel, the areas which I'm looking to do my business in is going to be the lows or the highs, depending on my bias. But what I won't do is look for opportunities in this kind of area here, because that's where things can get awkward. Momentums can be deceiving sometimes. Markets naturally going to fluctuate more, be a bit more choppy, easier to get wicked out, and no kind of really effective place to put a stop loss either. So that's the no-go zone for me anyway. So yeah, I did really want to see price test that upper end. I mean, we could still see that happen. You know, price might still want to push up one more time. So I would suggest to keep an eye on that for New Zealand dollar. But yeah, strong reaction this morning. Possibly this is the high in place, and now we're going to see price push down, where again there could be some nice buys later on. But really, the focus is still at the high, still at the low. So wait to see which area price makes a move to first. Then we can monitor price then and look for opportunities. But yeah, really nice reaction. Just not quite at the upper end of the channel, unfortunately. Pound CAD, lovely move to the downside, I must admit. Quite textbook as well. You know, just came back for the retest of the range here. Lovely consolidation. The breakout, we did eventually pick up some momentum. Lovely retest. It was difficult to catch this trade, I would probably say, because the retest was quite minimal. So it's not like price was rejecting very well. It was quite flat, and eventually just the news picked up and price absolutely plummeted there. So it will be difficult to get into this position, at least in my opinion anyway. Maybe if you're not in intraday time frames, you might have found an entry early on for the break and retest. But yeah, if you went in before that, especially if that momentum, it will definitely leave you in the dust there. But yeah, really nice opportunity. Consolidation, breakout, retest, continuation. Very, very textbook stuff, I must admit, from Pound CAD. Essentially, all we've done is just reject the highs again. You can see key resistance there, again, key resistance. So all we've done is just push the resistance and rejecting it. Again, nothing complicated really there with Pound CAD. And now it looks to me that we're heading back to some key support. And then the cycle repeats. You know, what does price does at this area? Do we bounce again? Do we break through? You know, we'll find out when price gets there. But in terms of opportunities, I would say the train has left the station with this one. If you're not already in here, then you kind of want to be in there. And if you're not in there, would you really want to be entering, you know, some break and retest here? I mean, that probably would be your next best opportunity. But you're a little bit later, you're a bit more in the middle of the range, you know, coming back to some support areas here, which could make it a little bit more noisy. So I'm not too sure if I really want to be entering in these areas. I mean, I do think price can keep falling, so I would still be bearish for Pound CAD at the very least for a push to 1.83. So I do expect lower prices, but I'm not too sure if I'm positioned well enough to entertain the idea of shorting in these areas. It's a bit lower down for me. Again, not to say that you won't be able to take a successful trade, it's just I'm not a big fan of the location. But yeah, once we get here, then we can speak about some buys potentially if we do bounce again. Or of course, maybe some breakouts if that's going to be the case as well. Again, Pound CAD is another one of those trends where I do think we are a little bit stretched. And I do think we can see a bit more downside soon. But we can speak about that a little bit later on. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Pound CAD for now. Yusuf, 3 pairs, UJ, GJ, and gold. Okay, I'm assuming on the 50-minute chart as well. What's up, Jeremy? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. Did I not say hello to you earlier? Well, if I didn't, hello. Hope you're doing good. Okay, that's your level. Okay, yeah, around there. Yeah, so yeah, if price gets there, I would still entertain some sells. I think that's still a legit place to short from, especially how Aussie dollar is moving. It's quite flat in general, so a push back to highs, I think, is like to see another rejection. Of course, whether you see a big move down, because you mentioned your target's around 0.62, I believe. Again, that's still a huge move, which could happen, of course. But again, as long as you're actively managing the trade, yeah, I think that's the best way to go about it. Hey, what's up? CS Integrated. Hope you are well. Welcome to the stream. Managed to get a buy in the XY 97.650. Nice. Taking advantage of that lovely move. Yeah, DXY is definitely looking strong at the moment. I mean, it's still within the range, so it's kind of still up in the air if that strength is going to sustain. But yeah, definitely a very strong reaction off the low of the range there. We can take a look at the DXY in a second. Just need to go through some pairs for Yusuf. So yeah, dollar yen on the 15. Well, dollar yen on the daily is looking interesting. I mean, the day is still relatively young, so you know, we still got 10 hours left before that candle does close, and a lot can happen in that time. We could pull back, we could continue. But if we do see a strong close potentially, this might be the start of some strength coming in into dollar yen, and maybe we can start speaking about push back to 150.795. So that's definitely something I'll keep an eye on, see how we close on the day. But yeah, a lot of strength, of course, USD pair as well. So we're seeing that strength kind of spill over. As for the range itself, looks like we've pushed back to highs here after a really nice rejection off the low earlier this week, or even last week even. Now price back at resistance. So yeah, it's make or break again. It's make or break. It's that time again. You know, does price respect this area and come back down, or does price manage to break through? And we're talking about a trend again, and we're talking about continuations back to the high. I think either is just as likely to happen, really. If I drop to the 15, I think shorts is probably your best play for now, because of course you're not seeing any evidence of a breakout just yet. Price is respecting the high. So yeah, I would say if you can see a strong close, maybe even on this current candle here, that could be a nice entry in itself. Stops above the high and taking the short from there. Maybe you're looking at some of these areas at the very least. I mean, you could probably even be looking to take it all the way down there, but you can see how it goes, to be honest. But yeah, I think for dollar yen, just looking to trade the range, yeah, a very sensible place for it. Price is showing healthy signs of respecting that level as well. I'm liking the wicks and the 4-hour chart too. So yeah, I would say if you can see some nice momentum in the 15, I think shorts make a lot of sense. And all you're doing is just looking to catch the high of the range. If it does break out, you take the stop loss, and then we can speak about some long opportunities afterwards, and possibly a push there. So if we do get the breakout, there'll be opportunities there too. But for now, it looks like we are respecting the highs, so we could see price potentially roll over from here. Taking a look at pound yen, which did respect the highs really well. Really nice push to the upside. You see some nice wicks down the 4-hour time frame into the high. And of course, this one did spill over. Again, a little bit difficult to catch this one, especially with the violent nature of the news. But we did see some yen weakness kind of steadily push into the market. But that was a really big candle there closing. So now on the 50-minute chart, I don't think there's much to do here, especially with where we're trading and how we're trading. We had a really aggressive reaction at the high. So this is really where you want to do your business and find entries. Now that we've had that aggressive move, now is kind of where I would back away, especially if I'm not in the trade. Because I don't really know what price is going to do here. Are we going to continue? Is price forming a bottom? I don't know. We're not really trading any significant area of support and resistance. So I'm not seeing any kind of opportunity really, to be honest, with pound yen. So really, I would stay away. I'll probably wait to see if we can push back to lows here. I think naturally that would be a smart place for a buy. Of course, if you push back to the high, naturally would be a smart place for a sell. But where we're trading is the middle of nowhere. Yes, you could probably argue there's some resistance support in there, but would I buy that? No. No significance really to me. So yeah, focus for GJ, still at the lows 197.933 and still at the highs 200.123. Other than that, not seeing much developing there for GJ at all, at least on the 50-minute chart. Unless you're in a short from there, I would stay away. And in terms of gold, so gold much better. Of course, this one just made new highs past 3,500. So market's extremely bullish. This is what I'm looking at on the 4-hour chart to see if we can get that bigger pullback to test the high of the range. I think that would be a very nice opportunity if that was to develop. But if I scoot to the 15, I would still stay bullish. Of course, we did respect the highs there, so that's a little bit of a thing to watch out for. And we had a pretty aggressive retracement there. I still like the buys off the low here. Again, maybe wouldn't be so aggressive because we're starting to see some bigger pullbacks and respecting highs. So maybe even a push just to resistance here could be a nice trade within itself. Not necessarily looking for the home run, but yeah, coming from support, momentum still very much up. I think we're likely to bounce there. Key resistance, I think that's a smart place to target. And then maybe if things go well, we do get a push back to highs. So yeah, gold, I would still stay focused with the buys. There's no significant break of structure. The only thing to watch out for is that we did rally into highs and reject pretty aggressively. So it's a sign that we are kind of fading at highs a little bit. But for now, the momentum is still up, structure still up. So I'll still be looking to buy, especially at key support, and at least taking positions off at key levels of resistance. Doesn't necessarily have to be the previous swing high. So yeah, gold still bullish for me. Momentum still strong. I like the buys. Yes, we are rejecting highs, so I wouldn't be overly confident with the buys just yet. But until I start to see some selling pressure kick in, strong selling pressure kick in, or price break structure, then yeah, I will back away a little bit. But I'm not seeing any signs of that for now. So gold, I'm still expecting us to continue higher. So yeah, hopefully that made sense on the 15. Not the best opportunities. I like gold. Pound yen, UJ. Pound yen, definitely not a fan of. UJ just respecting highs, so naturally, just looking to see if we reject them. I think that's a nice opportunity in itself, really. Especially if you're looking to kind of trade ranging price action. We'll have a look at the DXY, and then we can go through some Euro Yen shorts as well. Appreciate it, Bashi. Yeah, we can go through Euro Yen. Did I go for gold? Yeah, I did go for gold. I'm on gold right now. I'm holding my DXY buys since it's out of noise zone. Okay. And also my confused question. Question is, will it break 98? 98.5. Yeah, I mean that is the question. That is the question. Will it break out? I mean, I was expecting price to break out last time, but of course we didn't. We came straight back down, and I was expecting price to break out here because effectively we did actually close below, so it looked like we were going to get the breakout, but to be closed back above, and of course a very significant level of support, and price respected that and looking very, very bullish this morning. So yeah, that is the question. I think we probably won't know the answer until it happens, really, until we get then and monitor what price is doing, to be honest. But yeah, strength looks good. The thing is, again, I wouldn't get too carried away with strength in candles, especially in a range. It can be deceiving because this candle looked very, very strong. Minimal wick to the downside and to the upside, and in terms of the size, it's massive. But yeah, we turned on a dime and price was very bullish afterwards. So momentum and big candlesticks can be deceiving these areas and ranges. So despite the momentum looking good here, doesn't guarantee anything. We could still very much fall over. But yeah, I mean, in terms of direction for me for the dollar, it really does depend what we do at the highs and lows. If you break the lows, I'm really bearish, looking to target the lows here. Break the highs, I'm really bullish, looking to target the highs there. So I can see price doing both scenarios, really. It's just about waiting for us to get the clarity. Of course, if you're looking to trade the range, that's a smart move in itself. Looking to buy the lows, sell the highs, that makes sense too. But yeah, in terms of the bigger move, I agree. 98.5-ish. Let's see if price can break that. And that should hopefully paint the picture. Okay, we'll go through Euro Yen next. Gold just went up. I'll take a look at gold after Euro Yen. I mean, yeah, I mean gold is bullish. I'm expecting gold to attack higher. There's still momentum in general for gold, so buy is still the best bet. It's just finding good opportunities and pullbacks, really. As for Euro Yen, of course, very interesting move this morning. Looking really bearish at really bullish at one point, but couldn't sustain that and did perform a pretty big wick, and we pulled back down. So yeah, a bit awkward there, I must say, for euro yen. But in general, looking pretty bullish, and I do think we can see more upside. I like what I'm seeing here in general. I do think euro yen is teasing a move to the upside here. Of course, yen is looking like it's weak again a little bit as well, so that'll play a big role. But I do think this is where euro yen is likely to push to. Price did break through major resistance here. I do think price is likely to continue to the upside in the long run. So we've got a lovely consolidation. Looks to me that price is breaking that to the upside. It looks like price is breaking that to the upside. And yeah, if we can get a healthy pullback, break and retest, I think that's a great opportunity for a buy. And that itself is kind of what I'm looking to trade for euro yen, because I don't really want to trade within here again, unless you're looking to try and play the range. It makes sense, although it's looking a bit awkward at the moment. But I do think price is eventually going to hit 175. So if I can take advantage of that, get into a nice trade, potentially capitalize on a big swing, who knows how far that position could run. But it looks like we're steadily, slowly trying to trend higher. And I think a big kind of green light to support that idea would be a healthy break to the upside outside that range. And as I said, pullbacks and break and retest opportunities is what the plan will be. So euro yen for me, bullish, looking at a lot more upside, at least a push back to the highs there, but more so push back to those highs is the plan. Just waiting for us to clear the highs, and then we can start looking for some pullbacks and some break and retest opportunities. But for now, very, very bullish. We can have a quick look at gold as well, but no problem, Yusuf, happy to help. Okay, so yeah, gold, I can imagine we're having some reactions. I mean, we were just on gold. Yeah, seeing some upside there. So yeah, gold is seeing us a bit of upside, but yeah, the bigger picture is that we're still kind of stalling at highs a little bit. At the all-time highs at 3,500. But as I said, especially if you're intraday, as long as price doesn't go crashing through support here, I would stay bullish. I think price, as long as we can bounce to that level well, 34.68, I think that's a great place for a buy, and where we can take price back into resistance and then maybe back to highs as well. But yeah, gold for me, still bullish, looking good. Yes, momentum looks good as well. If this is price really picking a direction and breaking outside of this range, then we should see momentum slowly pick up and gather momentum, and we could be looking at a really big breakout. So as long as gold remains in this uptrend, as long as gold remains showing signs of clear bullish momentum, as long as we don't come crashing back down, or most importantly, crashing back within the range, then I think buys for now is a no-brainer. Same thing with silver as well. Both very similar conditions right now, similar markets anyway, and they both have my attention. Silver a little bit more so. I think it's just a little bit cleaner. Silver's not necessarily pushing into resistance right now. We've broken through that. Momentum is a little bit more clear cut here with silver as well. So if I had to choose between the two, probably would be silver. But yeah, looking for buying opportunities there as well. Not quite at that zone just yet. And I do have this zone which I'm keeping an eye on as well. But yeah, bullish for both gold and silver. Dre, New Zealand CHF. Okay, we can take a look at that. CHF pairs have been a bit flat. Yeah, but I think price is still really bearish here for New Zealand CHF. We've got key support above us, which of course is going to be flipped as resistance. And judging how corrective price is moving, I do think price can very much continue lower. So as I expand to the daily chart, looking at the trend, looking at momentum, looking at the lower highs even, we are so relentless with all these lower highs. I do think price can continue a lot further and perhaps probably put another one in as well. So going forward with New Zealand CHF, I do think prices like to sweep the lows there. You can see how consistent we are with all those lower highs. I think naturally we are likely to continue and see some new lows. Again, longer term, I do think price is going to have a pretty big reversal because we are very overextended. We've been basically falling since March 2021, and we've just been creating new all-time low after new all-time low. So I do think the market is very overextended and very much due upside. So as a swing trader, that's something to keep in mind. But at the same time, you don't want to jump the gun and be too early to the position, because we don't know how far we could keep going. This could keep going for another year potentially. So you don't want to be in the market way too early for the buys. Let the market reverse first and let us start seeing higher highs and higher lows. Then sure, we can get involved there. But for now, the bears look in control. I think this low probably will go as well. Momentum still looks like it's with the bears. I like the retracement. A lot of momentum, of course, with that breakout. And this looks really corrective. So it's given the impression that this is likely a pullback anyway. If we can catch a retest there, I think that's a great place for a short. And then I see a push back down to those lows, as a target, or at least these lows as a target. So, yeah, really, really bearish. And I think price is likely to continue lower for New Zealand Swiss. And that's pretty much my same outlook across the board for the CHF pairs. Still somewhat bearish. Yeah, I do expect them to reverse, but no signs of that yet. Jeremy, $16 account. Is that $16? Which pair should I trade? Often I want to try gold, but I'm afraid. Yeah, again, you don't want to be in a situation where you're trying to force something, Jeremy, because there's no sustainability in that. You might hit a winning trade, but then you might lose it all in the next trade. So I would very much recommend get on a demo account. No need to trade live. You don't want to be in a situation where you're afraid to do anything really with trading, because that will affect your decision making and affect your profitability really, no matter how much you got in your account. So I would very much suggest spend some time on a demo. I know you're not making any money and it's a bit boring because there's no upside to it, but trading is very much all about the skill set, really, and the thought process and the ability. So, like I said, you might catch a winning trade, but with fear, money doesn't go to people who are afraid, or whatever is afraid. So if that's the case, spend some time in demo trading. It doesn't really matter what pair it is. If you don't really have a large account, I wouldn't recommend gold anyway, just because of the lot sizes won't really add up anyway. I would suggest Euro USD, Pound USD pairs, similar to those, to focus on. And I would spend some time demo trading, building up my confidence, building up my strategy, building up my ability to trade the strategy effectively, able to manage risk, all of that, before going to any live markets. And yeah, I think gold is definitely one to potentially add to the watch list a little bit later on. No problem, Dre. Happy to help. Mauricio, Euro USD, we can take a look. Excuse me. So yeah, Euro USD, this one is looking pretty bearish this morning. Of course, looks like it's about to push back into support. So the plan very much is, what do we do at support? That would dictate the next move for us, because again, essentially all price has been doing is ranging, respecting highs, respecting lows. So as we do push back to the low again, we're back in the next cycle. Will price now bounce again? Will price now break through? It's something we'll probably find out when price actually gets there. But in terms of opportunities, that's really where the opportunities lie. Buying the dip, buying price reacts with that level, or either selling the breakout or selling potentially a retest. Those are kind of the three opportunities you're looking at. Yeah, that's all really the focus is, because at the moment we're really flat. I mean, this could still be a lower high. That's kind of still how I look at Euro. This could still not be a lower high, so I can see how well we do push through. There's a lot of wicks on the weekly chart, so we have found a lot of support here, so we'll take some energy to break through. But if it does, the shorts do look good. So yeah, Euro USD, for the most part, very, very flat. Unless you already got a position on, I'll stay away. If you are looking to find a new trade, then the focus would be at the low of the range, basically. And then we'll go from there. Whether we get a bounce or a breakout, that's kind of where the focus will be. No problem, Jeremy. Happy to help. So yeah, for my focus going into the remainder of the week. Ooh, I will definitely keep a close eye on the USD pairs because I feel like a move's coming. We got NFP on Friday as well. Already seen some interesting movement, so I think we could see some fireworks this week. But yeah, USD pairs, I'm still kind of indecisive in terms of my bias, basically because I'm waiting for the DXY to make up its mind as to what it wants to do next. Is it going to charge into resistance and come back down? Is it going to charge and break out? That will be pivotal in terms of my bias, but I'm essentially waiting for price to break out the range. Up or down, doesn't really matter. I'll probably be able to take advantage of opportunities in both directions, so just waiting for the bomb to go off, really, waiting for an opportunity there. In terms of the yen pairs, I'm currently trading Aussie yen, so I'm just managing my stop loss at this point. Momentum looks relatively good. We've got the breakout of the channel, so that's the key component. And now hopefully we can get pushed back to the highs. I've locked in some gains there. If we do continue, I may lock in some gains underneath that low there as well. But yeah, so far looking pretty good. Other yen pairs I'm keeping an eye on. Possibly dollar yen if I do see a healthy enough breakout. I was kind of hoping dollar yen does dive a little bit deeper, but we're not getting that. So maybe if we do see price have a strong break of this area, I think that does turn into a very nice opportunity for a buy. And possibly a push back to the highs there. So that's something I may be interested in. GJ, 100%. If this one breaks the upside, I'll be interested in, especially if it's a lot of momentum. If price finally clears this to the upside, then yeah, I really like the buys for this one. I think there's a long way to go, but we'll see. I think pound's looking a little bit weak right now. Still seeing a bit of continuation there. Other yen pairs, not really. I think that's about it for the yen pairs. USD pairs, euro and pound, I'm keeping a close eye on. So if pound makes a breakout, I'll be interested. Not so much looking to take buys for pound. It's more so the break above here or the break below here is what I'm interested in. Similar with euro. If pound USD does make a strong push down, I'm interested to take it back to the lows there. Dollar CAD, I like the shorts for now. Got to keep an eye on how we retrace, but I like the retest of that supply zone. Really nice push to the downside. If we can stay correctively on the way up, respect it well, I think that's a great pace for a short. And targets back to where we came from, back into the low there. Keep it relatively simple. And yeah, New Zealand CAD did miss the entry for this one, but perhaps maybe another one does develop. Maybe we do push back into resistance again, and I can take some shorts from the high. Or if not, perhaps a break of support again. Another retest opportunity could present. I'll keep an eye on that. Yeah, but did miss the entry earlier this morning. And is there any other opportunity? Yeah, of course. Silver and gold as well. Longs on these guys. Just looking to play the momentum. Looking really healthy. Trending very well. Pull back to those areas. I'll be very happy for some longs. And same thing for gold as well. Really nice momentum. Key breakout. A retest for this area. I'll be very happy with a long. And then seeing how far we can take and just trading stops really. So yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with my watch list for the week. Dima, appreciate it. Take care, my man. Thanks, Bashir, guys. If you're enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe, guys. Does really help out. And thank you so much to everyone who has liked and subscribed so far. Do really appreciate it. Of course, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any uploads or streams in the future. And of course, share it with your friends. That does help the channel grow as well. Jeremy, I saw on Forex Factory that the news could affect the USD. Oh, are you talking about PMI? As in USD PMI? Yes, of course, USD PMI will definitely affect USD, of course. Any, of course, dollar news will affect USD. Of course, how much? I don't know, but we definitely could think. But actually, to be fair, I was actually going to do it yesterday, but I actually got back late because I was out last night. But by tomorrow, what's tomorrow, Wednesday? Yeah, the spanner will be there. I mean, I'll do it after the stream. I do need some mods as well, to be honest. No problem, Michelle. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, guys, we have reached the end of the stream. I do really appreciate each and every one of you tuning into the stream and chatting with myself. As always, we'll be live again tomorrow. If you haven't checked out the Google form, I'll drop the link to it again. Again, we are running a competition very, very soon on the Perps platform. Again, just a bit of fun, nothing too serious. So if you want to check it out, have a bit of a play of the platform, there will be rewards for best performing traders there. Do check it out. Drop your email if you are interested. And again, we'll be speaking more about it and the rules and everything as the week continues. So do look out for that. But nonetheless, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. Have a good one. Of course, we'll be live again tomorrow. We'll be live again tomorrow from the same time as always, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good one, and I'll catch you all in the next one.
Six AI agents, each built with a unique edge. Miko, AI, Team Leader. Ori AI, Fundamental Analyst. Exi, AI, Technical Analyst. Mesa, AI, Risk Management Specialist. Fenwa, AI Market Sentiment Analyst. And Naledi AI, the cryptocurrency expert. Together, they're engineered to protect, guide, and transform your trading. The future of trading is here. Experience Zentrix AI.